Guys, so here we are out at the car, and just going to give you a few tips on how to get this camshaft crankshaft job done. So the first thing is, of course, get the car jacked up in the air, get your wheel off, and then you're going to have to remove, there's a flap down here in behind. There's a couple of screws you can see down there. There's one screw right in there. There's a few screws there, and then you take those out, remove that metal flap. And then with your, just a vice grips or something, you can peel back the plastic on the fender wall and get access to your accessory belt pulley, which you can see in here. I'll try and get you a look there. If you see down in here, you've got an accessory belt that wraps around, goes around here, and get some light on it. The light's not very good right now, but there's your accessory belt right there. And the trick here is way down in there, there is a torque bolt that you've got to get off. You've got to sort of use it to with your torque kit and a 3/4 inch socket and extension. It's really tough, but you got to get right down in there where the light is shining. There's a little spot. Let's see if I can actually probably touch it. It's like, yeah, right down in here. And you can get your torque fastener in there. It's really kind of hard to do, but once you get it in there, you can then loosen the tensioner off, remove the accessory belt. Okay, and the accessory belt is, of course, here, goes around your air conditioner, your power steering, etc. And there's the at the bottom there is the tensioner that you're going to be loosening off. So once you get that off, then you've got to access your accessory belt pulley down there. So you can see that way down at the bottom, your accessory belt pulley. Once you get the belt off, then you can use your rubber mallet and tap on it. I had no success with that, so, and then kind of trying to pull it off. You might get lucky, but I had to use a puller to pull that off. So you can do that with your puller, and then from there you've got to get the crankshaft lined up. The timing is the critical part. And what you can do, there's a couple of ways to do it. One is you can buy yourself a camshaft locking tool, and what you would do with that is there's ones you can buy that you can fit on the front here that lock the cams in place. There's other ones you can buy that you will take the caps off. I'll show you back here. There's caps at the very back. Right down in here you can see this black cap. There's one here in the front camshaft, and there's also another one back in here. You have to remove your engine mount and to access it back in there, and then you can remove that one as well and use that tool to lock the cams together. I didn't do any of that because I didn't want to waste another 50-70 bucks. You can do it without any of those tools, which is what I did. Problem with that is you got to be really cautious because, of course, your cams are here, and you can see the timing belt running up here on the cam, and there's another one back in here, and you can see the other cam. That's the one that's got the VVT hub on it. And with this one, what I did was you line up your crankshaft timing marks, and you can see them. You can't see them here on the side. It's way down at the bottom there, and but once you get your accessory belt pulley off, you can see the crankshaft pulley, and you've got to then, before you remove the timing belt, line the notches up. There's notches on it, and you've got to line those up before you actually pull the belt. So you got to look at those and get them lined up, and once you get them lined up, then you mark the camshafts. So on your camshaft, you'll see there is a, try and get the light in here a little better. There is marks on top of this hood here. Let me see if I can show it to you. Yeah, right in here, you'll see, you can probably just barely see it. Yeah, there's a little notch up there. You can see the little notch where my finger's pointing. Yeah. So that's where you're going to end up lining up your cams with those notches. And when you do line those up, then you got to take I used whiteout and just mark it on the cam. You can probably still see the, yeah, you can see the whiteout on my cam camshaft over there, where I marked it with whiteout, right down in here. You can see that marking there. So when I lined up the crankshaft, that mark was lined up perfectly at the top here with that little notch. And once you get those lined up, then what I did was I took zap straps and I locked the belt to the cam. Okay, so I did that, and so the cam belt would not move off the cam. I did that for the front and the exhaust cams. So that way, when I removed the cam to replace the seals, and you'll see there's 3 little bolts there. When I removed those 3 bolts to pull the cam off, it came off with the belt, right? And so they'd all be coming off together, so there's no way that would move. So all I had to do was put it back and make sure it was lined up with that little notch. My white mark was lined up with that notch when I put it back, and so my timing would be fine. So again, I used a zap strap through the hole to the belt. Same with on the other cam at the back, so that there was no possibility that the timing could be out. Okay, and just remember that when you're removing this belt, I mean, there is a bit of movement that is possible, maybe 1 tooth or so, but you really don't want it to move more than that. But as long as you've taken your white out and marked the timing position here, lining it up with that little notch and your belt and the cam, and you do that at the back as well as down at the bottom at the crankshaft, then you should be able to keep it in time with no problem. And that's what I did. That worked really well. The most difficult part of this job was, however, was getting the new seal in for the crankshaft. The camshaft seals just pushed in very easily. To get them out, drill a little hole in them. That's what I did. I drilled a little hole and then just pull the camshaft seal out, and the new one was pressed in easily, no problem. It was easy to just push it back in with my hands. I didn't have to do anything other than that, push it right back in, so it solidly fit into place. But with the crankshaft seal, the difficulty is it seems like it's just such a tight fit down there that using a socket method to tap the seal back in didn't work. It just ripped the seal, so that took me a long time. I had to order another one, took another week to get it in, and so on. But what I did from there was I built my own tool to actually put the seal over to press it into place. And I'll have to show you that. I'll have to show you that in another video. I just don't have the tool with me right now, but that worked really well. I was able to tap it into place to keep the actual, to get the actual seal in there. And, you know, it's been about 6,000 kilometers right now and no problem. So anyway, I hope this has helped you out a little bit. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments there, of course. Make sure to like this channel, subscribe, share it with your friends. You know, also have a look at, there's a great channel by Sirob, S-I-R-O-B-B, where he details this repair. So look at that. I used that to help me, and then I learned a few things from it. Again, especially about making the tool, because without having a tool, it's impossible to get that seal in with a socket method and tapping it. It's just way too tight of a fit, and the lip will rip. So get a tool, make a tool like I did. Contact me if you need one, and maybe we can help you out. Anyway, hope you appreciated this video. Hope it helps you out a little bit, and feel free to ask any questions you can, and I'll do my best to answer them. And just remember, one of the oddly enough, one of the hardest parts was getting the cover back on this. There's a cover that fits over the timing belt in the timing belt area, and it's really tricky to get back in because there's a couple little notches way down there. It's almost impossible to see them, and you have to fit the plastic cover back into those little notches in behind the accessory belt. So it's a little bit tricky. That's probably one of the hardest parts of the job, oddly enough. But yeah, other than that, it's not too bad. And I did it. I didn't have to remove these the power steering reservoir, and I didn't remove the coolant reservoir. However, you certainly can. It's easy enough just to get these things out. There's just a couple little places where they connect down here and here. You just pop those all up, and some people will even take the hoses off and stuff like that. I didn't bother with any of that. I just made sure I was able to get my hands down there to do what I had to do. Okay, so anyway, best of luck with your job, and if you have any questions, comments, or need help, send me a message and we'll do our best to help you out. Okay, thanks for watching. Take care, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video.